Welcome back to Basement Movie Room. We're here to talk about Matrix Resurrections.
Whoa.
And I'm not really looking forward to talking about this movie again.
I mean,
it is a dumpster fire. Sorry.
Yes.
Dumpster fire.
Here we go.
So,
that sums it up right there.
Matrix Resurrections, set about 20 years after the last film. The joke on the internet is Keanu Reeves was so dedicated to his craft he aged 20 years to play Neo in the future. So, Matrix Resurrection comes back to the Matrix universe in which in which Neo and Trinity have been resurrected and placed back in the Matrix to...
Spoiler.
Dad, fuck spoilers. I don't know if I can care about this movie. So, no explanation really for this. Neil Patrick Harris plays the analyst. Spoiler alert. He's actually like Richard Anderson's therapist in the Matrix world. Mm-hmm. And apparently Neo and Trinity were placed back in the Matrix because the Matrix wouldn't work without them, but it also wouldn't work with them together. Which makes no sense, to be honest. So they're placed back in the Matrix, and Neo has become a game designer who has designed the Matrix as a game. Essentially, the Matrix game that he designed is the original movie.
Which, that part was a little
The
intriguing.
meta part was interesting, yes. But also groany.
It started, very. But it started off, it had me for a little bit there.
About 30 minutes.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All the extraneous characters that he deals with that work for his company are just... I hate them. 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 I hate them.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking terrible. That's what they are.
And yeah, it really falls.
And I think, honestly, to give it to the filmmaker, to Lana Wachowski, I think they're supposed to be. I think you're supposed to dislike these characters. Christina Ricci has a minor role.
Yeah.
It's like
at
a
first
nothing burger.
At first I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
Christina
her.
Ricci. And she's there for like 2 minutes and then she's gone. Never comes back.
Yeah.
So, Neo and Trinity have been placed back in the Matrix. The start of the movie is almost, it's identical to the start of the original Matrix movie, except you have these other characters, Bugs and I can't remember the computer guy's name, in this memory of Trinity at the first of the Matrix movie, but it's not Trinity. She looks slightly different,
It's a simulation of the original.
It's a modal.
Yeah.
They call it a modal.
Yeah. But
it ends up that Keanu Reeves' character, Neo, Richard Anderson, had designed this modal because he doesn't trust his world, basically. Mm-hmm. He doesn't trust the world, and he created this modal because he thinks he can figure something out about the Matrix, because he's not completely sure he's in the real world.
Yeah.
And the modal contains Morpheus.
Which that is another part that I was kind of like, man, if they could go with
that part. Yeah, that part was good.
Where he thinks that he's crazy, because that kind of goes back to the original.
Yeah.
Where he thinks that he's a little crazy. I mean, did this happen? They could have went in a total different direction.
They could.
And it would have been very interesting. But they chose to go with
it doesn't go that way.
What we saw.
So Morpheus is in this modal, and that's the only way we get Morpheus in this movie is as a program. He's actually a Smith in that program, because Anderson has these memories of Smiths, but he makes Morpheus as a Smith, and then Bugs. Is it Bugs? Is that the girl's name?
Bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Bugs.
Blue
hair.
Yeah.
Comes in.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, she is. I like her.
Yeah.
I like her, and I like the other guy, the computer tech that takes place of Tank or whatever his name was.
He's kind of leading her through.
So
very, very close.
They kind of pull Morpheus out of this modal, and Morpheus is played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen as opposed to Lawrence Fishburne in this movie, because it's like Neo's memory of Morpheus, which isn't exactly perfect. Which is actually ruined later in the movie, because the game has, they say this is your game, and it's got the perfect version of Lawrence Fishburne on there, because it's just footage from the first movie. So it's like antithesis of itself. It doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, Morpheus gets pulled from that, and he's like, I never really understood what I'm doing here. But in the Matrix world, Neo works for this video game company. The founder of the video game company is his best friend, and ultimately you figure out that the founder of the company And this part, honestly, I like this idea. It just wasn't played out well. That the co-founder of the company, Neo's best friend, is actually Smith.
Yeah.
It's Agent Smith. He's
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving's character.
Didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I really like that. Because they're kind of like the opposites of each other in the Matrix. They balance each other out.
Right.
I like that. I wish Hugo Weaving would have come back, but he's kind of retired.
Yeah.
So you had
Wait not to come back for this
one. It was a good choice. It was a good choice, Hugo. You didn't come back for Infinity War either.
You took the boat out to the west.
You didn't come back for Infinity War. You were on the boat with the elves.
Yeah.
So what happens is they rescue Neo again from the Matrix, and you find out that the machines reanimated Neo and Trinity because they needed them to be in the Matrix. This was all the analyst. Neil Patrick Harris's character is the analyst. His idea to keep the Matrix balanced and to make people still work for the Matrix. So at that point is where the movie lost me.
Yeah.
Is where he's pulled out of the Matrix. It lost me because you get Niobe, who is a character I never liked even in the sequels. Jada Pinkett Smith, she's fine in the role, but I don't like the character. She was in the Enter the Matrix video game too, which was okay.
Yeah, makeup was...
elderly makeup. And she's like...
work for me.
You figure out that once Neo died originally, the machines and the humans decided to coexist.
Oh, that... I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
When I saw the first machine that was a good machine.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And I think that at that point, that's when I was like, I was checked out.
Yeah, there were some machines that lived with humans, but there were some machines that were still against humans, obviously.
It was almost like Transformers.
Yeah, you're talking about the little
crazy,
one?
Yeah,
the little, like, cutesy type one? Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah, like the racist Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
like, what is going
on? Niobe is the leader of the humans at this point, and she wants to lock Neo up because she doesn't want anything to happen to their peace. But Bugs and her crew, which they're forgettable. Most of the other people in the movie are forgettable.
Yeah.
Decide to rescue Neo and go back in the Matrix to try to rescue Trinity because they think that's what will solve all the problems. And this is where the problems with the movie really started for me. We're stuck in the 90s in this movie, for one thing. The styles and the fashion were terrible. I mean, I guess it makes sense because technically... But the movie's supposed to be like in 2020, 2021. But all this style, these stupid jackets and sunglasses and crap, it just made no sense.
You have totally back to the 90s.
The Merovingian appears as like a homeless guy.
That was another.
And the Exiles. Oh, it was so stupid. It was terrible.
I was like, what? And the fight choreography.
It's bad.
During that,
it's bad.
I was like, this is something that I could have been like, hey, get a couple buddies and have them fight out there, and and I
let's do whatever you want.
Shot that,
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Choreography's bad. The fighting's slow. It's similar to 99's Matrix, but it's not near as good, and it's just bad. It's just bad. It's slow and not good. Most of the fighting is really dumb.
Doesn't make a lot
of
sense.
Bullet time and all that crap. Like the slow-mo, that was kind of cool. Where Neil Patrick Harris would slow-mo things.
That was a neat.
That was a decent little thing. But like bullet time and all that, it's old now. You got to do something different. And granted, maybe you don't want to do something different because you want to keep the Matrix the same, but it doesn't work. That's the problem. So, I mean, overall, the movie just didn't work for me.
No.
It didn't work for me at all. I really disliked a lot of it. I was okay with about 45 minutes of it. Yeah. And then the last hour and 15 minutes was terrible. And
they had some very interesting ideas in the beginning that they could have just went with those.
Yeah.
And they just totally got off the...
Yeah, they went off the rails.
They had some really good stuff there. And I was hoping, and I wanted it to be good. I did, because I like the Matrix universe. But, man.
The funny thing is they had Trinity married in the movie, and her husband's name was Chad. I take offense to this, putting the name Chad on somebody who's essentially not some... But the funny thing, that's the director of John Wick. His name actually is Chad.
Oh, and I saw somewhere, too, where he was a
stunt coordinator.
Stunt choreographer.
Stunt
devil for
For Keanu. Yeah, that's right.
Keanu in
the
Matrix.
Yeah, he was
the original Matrix.
Yeah, and that's how him and Keanu got connected for John Wick.
Yeah.
Which are great movies. I love them all so far. But yeah, I can't remember his name, but his name is Chad, actually, I think, which is representing the 1980s with the Chad name. Trust me, I know. So, I mean, ultimately, the movie fails. I think it fails on a lot of levels. Like, Neo can't fly all of a sudden, but Trinity can.
He knows the Force.
Yeah.
The Force powers just drove me nuts.
Yeah,
that's all he does. He doesn't even really fight. He just pushes things.
Yeah, he pushes things.
Yeah.
It's so goofy.
So dumb. And the bodies hit the floor. What the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah.
Jumping out of the...
the bots.
Oh,
yeah, the bots. Yeah.
Jumping out of the building.
Yeah, there's a whole sequence where they just turn people into bots to bomb like cars on the street from skyscrapers. It was goofy.
I'm surprised I got through this.
It was not bad, but yeah, it was tough to get through. I fell asleep a couple times during that movie. I was bored to death during that movie.
I totally missed the train scene because I fell asleep. I didn't even realize it.
I don't remember the train scene. That tells you anything.
So I woke up at the end of the train scene.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I mean, it was bad.
It had very interesting concepts that they could have really played off.
Yeah.
And they fumbled.
They did.
Yeah.
And then they made a mistake. The first movie ended with a Rage Against the Machine song. Oh, this movie ended with a cover of the Rage Against the Machine song, and it was the worst cover of a song I've ever heard in my life, I think. I love that Rage Against the Machine song, and it was terrible. Oh, I'm trying to remember. It was Brass Against, and their singer recently got in trouble for pissing on some dude's face on stage at a concert. Geez. Yeah.
It's a female too, right?
Yeah, female.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It was terrible. It was a terrible cover.
I mean, it didn't have that, boom. Dun, 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 yeah.
It was bad.
It was like, what? Well, that kind of sums up the movie.
I don't even feel like talking. I don't feel like talking about this fucking terrible movie anymore, to be honest. It's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's bad. All right, rating wise, I'll go first. I think I gave it a 2.5, but that's only for like the first 45 minutes. It gets credit for the first 45 minutes, and the rest of the movie is like a 0. I mean, honestly, it was terrible. I did not enjoy it. I texted him right after because he had not watched it, and I was like, "You're not gonna like this."
Yeah. Yeah, and I watched it a day or so later.
Yeah, you did.
And I kept texting you back. It was, oh my gosh,
it's hard to get through. Yeah.
I fell asleep. This is so much cringe right now.
Yeah, it's really
I can't believe they made this movie.
Well, what's your rating?
Oh God, I'm at a 2 because I really lost it with the robots. Yeah. And then when the Merovingian showed up, I was like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was
I'm
bad.
I'm gonna let it play.
It was laughable at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Shouldn't have been made. And I think in the beginning too, I don't think they wanted to make the movie.
No, Wachowski only came back. She only came back because they were going to do it with or without her, which is a joke in the movie.
Yeah, all the references in the beginning about Warner Brothers, which is weird in its own sense.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to do it with you or without you.
Yeah, they do that.
I think that was...
It's all meta.
Yeah, so...
That's some of my favorite parts of the movie.
Very self-aware.
That's some of my favorite parts,
Yeah, but, I mean, it's like... I think that was the director being like, F you.
Yeah, basically.
Of course,
Yeah.
But, yeah. It had some good concepts that they could have played off of, but they...
they fell.
It was... Yeah.
They fell.
It was terrible.
They fell.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah. All right.
Out of 10.
So out of 10.
Not 5.
That's a 1 out of 5.
That's a 1.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching Basement Movie Room. We'll see you next time.
Dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
To be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.